Chapter 4, Double Date. You can feel the tension radiating off of Alexander and Skyler as you discuss the details of your agreement with them. The idea is that Lila is safe with you is laughable, Wolf. You will always be putting the well-being of your pack over her. Seriously, because the idea of you being able to take care of her at all sounds like one cosmic joke to me. Look what happened the last time you took a human under your wing. You step between them, heedless of the reckless energy building. Okay, enough talking like I'm not here. I want to know what the hell happened in the past, especially since it sounds relevant to me. About a century ago, someone under Alexander's watch got into Pact territory, killed one of our own. They got themselves killed in return. Icy fury contorts on his face, and he grabs your wrist. We're leaving. Alexander, I'm sorry, but I need to hear this. You know he could easily drag you off, but he lets your hands shift in his until you're gripping his fingers. Lila, you're going to listen to him? I know it must be hard for you to hear about the past, but I need all the information I can get if I'm going to stay safe. Alexander's lips twitch, and you think you see hurt flash across his expression before it hardens. Very well, I won't stop you. And with a chilly breeze, he turns and disappears into the night. Skyler lets out a heavy sigh. Come on, let's get you back to Greenwood so you can get some sleep. He slips his hand in yours, and you let him guide you out of werewolf territory. Once you're back out of the woods and under the glow of the town streetlights, you break the silence to continue the conversation from before. I don't get how your pack and Alexander are able to live in Hidden Grove together when things are so obviously tense between you. The pack is an honor code to protect the townspeople from threats, supernatural or otherwise. And you do not see Alexander as one of those threats? He frowns, clearly irritated. The incident I mentioned before wasn't technically Alexander's doing, and he hasn't harmed any humans here, so we can't just kill him. As much as I'd really like to sometimes. Not funny. Remember that treaty I mentioned back in the records room? The one the pack is governed by? Exactly. Well, it predates all of us, even Dracula. It was signed by Alexander's sire to keep vampire-werewolf relations civil. That sounds surprisingly diplomatic. Vampires and werewolves of the past must have seen the pros of coexisting here, at least in the past. Yeah, well, it's not like it stopped Alexander from breaking the pact. Even if he didn't mean to, it still resulted in multiple deaths. If I'd been an alpha at the time in charge of deciding how to handle things. He shakes his head darkly and trails off as you walk up to the bed and breakfast, the silence only broken by the twinkling of wind chimes. At the end of the drive, he turns to you and takes your other hand as well, facing you under the warm glow of the light from the inside. As much as I want to lay out all the details, as Alpha, it wouldn't be responsible to give you my side of the story without letting Alexander tell his. Which he's obviously not ready to do. Skyler gives your hands a little shake and grins at you. Forget about all that old bat. You've got me. But, are you alright? He motions towards your neck, reminding you of the faint prick of pain that lingers from where Alexander had drank. A flush goes through you. Yeah, I'm fine. A slight tension around his eyes reveals the jealousy, but he pulls the smile back in place. Good. I'll see you tomorrow, then. Can't wait for what you have in store for me. Smirking, Skyler starts to lean in and your heartbeat spikes. Make him wait, since he wanted to play like he has. You teasingly bring a finger to his lips. That's gonna have to wait until our date tomorrow. The promise only seems to cheer Skyler up. He shoots you a charming grin. In that case, have sweet dreams tonight. Good night, Skyler. And after you watch him head away, you turn into the bed and breakfast with a smile on your face, anticipating tomorrow. The next morning, Peter joins you for breakfast, and you're pleasantly surprised at how willing he is to talk about being a fae. You'd think after centuries of practice I'd have better aim at my light beam, but poor Jesse's hair never grew back the same. You've lived that long? So you're like the whimsical version of a vampire? I've never heard it put that way before, but now I wish I had. Honestly, I'm surprised your grandmother didn't think of it. I can't believe you knew her. That's so surreal. She didn't live here very long, but I did have the pleasure of visiting her in her little cabin. It's near the edge of werewolf territory. I wonder if her cabin is still there. Enough about me. How about you? How do you feel about this agreement you, Skyler, and Alexander have going on? Honestly, I'm surprisingly excited. Making deals with werewolves and vampires definitely wasn't on my bingo card, but it's been nothing short of exhilarating so far. Tell me about it. You have 2 dates and 2 in a day. Speaking of dates, I have the perfect thing to make your day feel even more exciting. A twinkle in his eye, he stands and disappears into a gift shop. You follow after him, curious. Are you saying I should bring them each gifts, or... No, silly, I'm giving you a gift to wear. Peter snaps his fingers, and suddenly he has an entire new ensemble in hand. He steers you into the dressing room before you can retort. Special firsts. You check yourself out in the mirror, and then step out in your new look, feeling a burst of confidence. Thanks, Peter. I love it. Oh, I happen to know a werewolf and a vampire who will love it too. You smile as you see Skyler turn the corner and walk up to meet you outside the bed and breakfast. He lifts a hand in a wave. Hope I didn't keep you waiting. Nothing a good date can't fix. He looks you up and down and lets out a wolf whistle. Damn, here I am feeling shabby. As if you don't know you're the hottest thing in town. I'm the one who has to dress up to look the part. Skyler loops an arm around your waist, voice turning sultry. As if you don't know how good you look at anything. You could pull off a potato sack. He leans his mouth closer to your ear. You could pull off nothing at all. He laughs as you pat at his shoulder, pulling back enough to admire your outfit one more time. And you're definitely pulling that off. I feel spoiled. He laces his fingers with yours, and you find you're already growing used to the feeling. I'm actually pretty excited to see where he's taking me. You arrive at a beautiful lakeside beach, where Skyler lets your hand go to unfurl a blanket he's tucked under his arm. I'll give it to you. You sure know how to pick a scenic spot. Perks of having free reign in the woods. He sits down and holds out a hand, which you take and lets him guide you down beside him. You know, there's something I've been wondering about. Shoot. Last night you mentioned the responsibility of being an alpha. How is that for you? It sounds like a lot. His easy smile starts to drop, and you worry you were wrong for asking. Sorry, I guess that isn't my business. It's fine, actually. I like that you asked. That you want to know about me. It's just, lately I've been thinking a lot about the pressure of it all. Wanting to be the best leader I can for my pack, and, he trails off with a troubled shrug. Hey. You cup his cheek in your hand, brushing your thumb against his cheekbone. He leans into your touch. Talk to me. You're used to being the shoulder for your pack to lean on. Right now, let me be the shoulder for you. A wistful smile takes to his face. Don't make me start imagining you as a co-captain. My pack is everything to me. My pack and my best friends and the people I trust the most in the world all at once. They deserve the best alpha they can get, and well, you know how I can be. I'm not always the most serious person. So what? I've seen how much your pack respects you. You can't think that trust is misplaced. I don't. Not really. I don't know. It's hard to explain. At first, finding out I was alpha was great. A real adrenaline rush. Great for my ego. You're relieved to see a smile and nudge your shoulder into his playfully. But my ego isn't what's most important. As an alpha, what's most important to me is making sure that every single one of them is safe and happy. It's just a lot to think about at once. I let myself. I just wish I could be more carefree sometimes. Emotions out at the beach. Swimming here is one of the only times I forget about my responsibilities for a while. Swimming? Isn't it a little cold for that? That's exactly the point. His grin turns devious, and you have the distinct impression that he's planning something. We're here to do a cold water plunge. You're kidding. No, not at all. He stands and shamelessly begins shucking off his clothes. You joining me, or do you need a hand getting undressed? I can do it myself, thank you very much. You just know how much he'd love to be the one to take your clothes off, so you just have to put your foot down. You grasp the hem of your top. So a show? Even better. You roll your eyes and pull your shirt off, trying not to show how aware you are of Skyler drinking in your form. You shimmy out of your skirt and leave your clothes in a pile on a blanket. So, now we just take the plunge and hope we don't freeze? Sounds about right. Once again, he holds his warm hand out towards you, and once again, you take it. On 3. 1, 2, 3. With a shriek, you run into the chilling waters alongside Skyler, gasping as the icy coldness quickly envelops you. Oh god, Skyler, how do you do this? He's a werewolf. It's natural for him. Shivers rack your body, and you instinctively move closer to him, just desperate for the slightest body heat. But as his arms wrap you up, and a surprising, well-enveloped heat thaws your frozen skin, you realize he isn't cold at all. See, nothing to worry about. You cheater. You bat at his arm, but then immediately pull closer to him again, craving his inhuman warmth. You had nothing to worry about. I was the one there taking a risk. You got me. Werewolves runs hot, so the cold doesn't really bother me. But in my defense, he ducks his head closer to yours. Your nose is nearly touching. You're adorable when you're shivering. And as for risks, I'm about to take one right now. Then his lips press yours, warm, plush, inviting. His teeth gently nip your lower lip, asking for permission. Really? Kiss him and don't hold back. You fully embrace your desires, pressing your body against his as you capture his lips with your own. You immediately forget about the cold as the heat infuses you. His deep groan as your mouths move together only inflames you further. I knew you'd give him to me eventually. He runs a playful hand up your side, hitching you closer to him, his lips traveling along your jaw and to your neck above your chain of your necklace. Easy now. You're obviously the one who's been thirsting for this. They push him back just far enough to look into his face, raising your eyebrows at the lusty glaze in his eyes. Oh no, Auntie can't get enough of me. He leans in, but you stop him with a finger to his lips, which only broadens his smirk. You have no idea. He nips your fingertip gently, the sharp point of his canines reminding you how strong he is, which only makes you smugger that he's looking at you with such unbridled lust. Letting you take control is only for the moment. Look at me. being such a good boy for me. With his hands on your hips and your lips still tingling from his kiss, you can't deny how right this moment feels, how easy and natural it is. You shiver as the water laps around you, and you feel how stiff your nips are against the soaked fabric of your bra. And here I thought I'd warmed you up. He pulls you right up against you so that there's no space between you, your stomach flushed to his hard, rippling planes of his abs. He smirks as you shiver, rips through you. Oh no, it's not working. His fingers trail down your spine before his hot palm drags over your hip and down your thigh, hitching your leg up. You gasp at the feeling of his uh-ohs. These dates, part of the reason I asked for them is because I feel this strong connection with you. I felt it from the very start. The sincerity in his gaze makes your stomach flop in a way that you haven't felt in a very long time. Skyler, I feel it too. You bring a hand to his face, tenderly cupping his jawline. I don't know what it is, but I feel like somehow everything with you just falls into place so easily, too easily. His smirk flares back to life, but it's tempered by the genuine affection in his eyes. If it's too easy, that's gotta mean it's right. Not always. As he holds you, as the cool water laps around your body, is a gentle melody in contrast with the elevated rhythm of your heart. That evening, you're gazing out the window of your room at Greenwoods, waiting for Alexander to show up, but as the moon continues to rise, a knot forms in your stomach. Why isn't he here yet? Is something wrong? You hurry to Alexander's castle, glancing over your shoulder the entire way. Things look normal from the outside. Alexander, are you here? Your voice echoes back at you, uneasy. You start to search through the various rooms. In the library, the flicker of a candle leads you to a table where he sits, his back to you. So you are alive. Lila, to what do I owe thee a pleasure? I thought you were supposed to be protecting me at night, but you didn't show up at the handoff time. I apologize. After what happened with the wolf earlier, I was too preoccupied with my thoughts. Regretfully, I forgot. He keeps his back to you, and you sense a hint of... Is that petulance in his tone? Is he jealous that I spent my day with Skyler? Unsure how to handle a potentially mopey vampire, you try to lighten the mood. I've never been stood up by a vampire before. I guess you're not into me as I thought. He turns in his chair, a subtle heat in his dark gaze. If you're speaking of your blood, you already know how it affects me. Clearly not enough if I still had to walk here all alone at night. Not so. Cletus informed me that you were on your way. Come again, Cletus? So a bat. Got him. Come here, Cletus. Oh, you look up at the source of the chirps in the rafters and spot a tiny bat hanging upside down. He keeps an eye on you on my behalf. I had him tail you here to make sure nothing befell you on your trek. Oh, that's, surprisingly sweet. Alexander's chair scrapes back and he stands only to falter when he takes you in a second, a much more intense time. Lila, you feel a flush of warmth as his difficulty finishing the sentence, his focus rapt on your attire. I look good enough to eat? His eyes jump back to yours heatedly, and you have a vivid recollection of the feeling of his tongue swiping over your skin. Dangerously delicious. Clearing his throat, Alexander's expression turns serious once more. I do regret missing our rendezvous time. I'd like to make it up to you. Please allow me to give you a tour of one of my favorite parts of my home. The blood storage room? The night blooming garden. You let out a gasp as he leads you into a garden. Flowers bloom in the moonlight all around you. A subtle, mystical aroma wafts from their petals. It's beautiful. Alexander takes your hand, and at first you think he's going to lace your fingers together like Skyler does, but he tucks your arm into his. How chivalrous. I like to hope that basic manners aren't dead in this age. You and me both, friend. You stroll into a comfortable silence for a few minutes, but you have questions on your mind. So what exactly had you so distracted tonight? Is it about what Skyler said earlier in the woods? I would prefer to be in this moment with you rather than recounting the past. God, I don't know who's more stubborn, him or me. Maybe he's just wanting to enjoy the moment with you. To be fair, Skyler didn't give me many details. He said it's also your story to tell. But if I'm going to give myself over to you, your protection as well as his, I need to know your side of the story. Alexander comes to a stop beneath a trellis archway of nighttime blooms. He looks out ahead as though reliving a memory. A long time ago, I turned my human lover, but I was reckless. My actions led to a tragic loss of life. His tone is so clinical that you feel like even though your hand is on his arm, there's a wall between you. I wish you couldn't close this off like this. I've agreed to give you my blood that makes me extremely vulnerable to you. But I feel like in return you should just keep me at arm's length. He turns to you, a furrow between his brows. I'm being careful, precisely because of how alluring your blood is to me. I thought I'd learned, in my centuries of being a vampire, how to control my cravings, but you... I've never tasted something so tempting. If I don't keep myself contained, including my emotions, I worry that I may do to you accidentally. What if I want you to lose control? You remember the heady sensation from the first time, as he lapped at your skin, drinking you up, your pulse quickens. What if I tell you that the thought excites me? His gaze is so intense you feel it like a physical weight on you, resting first on your lips and sliding down your neck, caressing your collarbones. You have no idea the battle I'm waging with myself. You can't help stepping closer, feeling a pull towards him, resting your hands on his chest and feeling him gently take your waist. You take him in from up close, the serious lines of his angular face, the dark depths of his eyes staring straight back at you. What does it feel like? Your awareness of my blood. His eyes darken, and slowly he takes your wrist, raises it between you. He shivers as thumb strokes over your pulse point. I can hear it rushing in your veins. It rushes faster the more we touch. His other hand flexes on your waist, and your breast stutters, heat swirling in your stomach. The scent is divine. It grows in strength alongside your pulse. At first, I could only imagine what you might actually taste like. He trails his fingertips up your arm, and your eyes drop to his lips, hypnotized by the growing smirk as he continues speaking. But now that I know your flavor, I taste the ghost of it on my tongue all day and night. I feel like a man addicted. An electric shudder runs through you, and his palm skates over your neck, then cups your jaw, his thumb brushing the corner of your mouth. If I could sleep, I know I would dream of you, but since I can, I dream in every waking moment, craving another taste. And before you know what's happening, you're kissing. You don't know who started it, only that he clings to you as you cling to him. His lips caress yours hungrily, his tongue swiping against yours as you gasp at the intensity of it all. Though you've kissed him before, it's done nothing to lessen your longing. In fact, you find you want him more than ever. Oh. You pull away with a gasp of shock, but you don't let go of him. It's almost like you can't, almost like there's a tug guiding you back to him. Your lips tingle for more, and by the look in his eyes, you know exactly he feels the same way. Kiss him until I'm breathless. Give yourself over to everything you want. You kiss him again. Before you know it, you have him backed into an enclosed section of a trellis, flowers blooming around you. His hands cup your jaw. The sensation, reverent, protective, even though the movement of his mouth against yours is possessive and claiming. Alexander. Say it again. Just like that. His rough voice, the heady scent of the garden all around you, electric pulse you feel at every caress of his lips. You melt into him. Alexander. His hand slides down your side and takes your waist, cradling you against him more intimately than you thought possible. He holds you with such longing that you feel as well hammering in your chest. I have to play fair, right? We slowed things down with Skyler. You bring your hands to his shoulders, maintaining some space, and feel him react, lessening his pressure, slowing down his kisses. A surge of affection flows through you, and you slide your arms around his neck as you melt into the new, unhurried pace of your kisses. Lila. His breathy voice makes your heart throb in your chest, and you tip your head as he starts kissing along your jaw. Your entire body feels like it's radiating heat as he trails gentle kisses down your neck, over the pulse point where you still recall the feeling of his fangs. He shivers against you and tenses. You feel, or know why, a second later as you feel two sharp points against your tender flesh of your throat. You slip off your necklace and ready yourself, arousal spiking at the mere thought of what's to come next, but he remains still as a statue. Why'd you stop? You shift to look him in the face and are nearly bowled over by the hunger in his crimson eyes. We're playing with fire, Lila. This is unwise. You know the tips of those fangs should frighten you, but your entire body tingles with anticipation instead, with longing. Does this make me a masochist? No. I'm serious. You can see how badly he longs to taste your blood again. His eyes locked on the place where you feel your pulse thumping in your neck. I'll let him take a small taste. Keep a blood play off the table. Let him take a small taste. It was part of the agreement after all. You grab the back of his neck and look him square in the eye. I like playing with fire. You guide him back to your throat, shutting your eyes with a shaky breath of expectation. He kisses your neck lightly at first, then grazes his tongue over your paws. Then, with a single motion, his fangs break the skin, the sensation somehow 10 times more vivid than the first time. You flinch at the initial pain, but then it's as all his lips and tongue as he laps and sucks the wound like a man who's just found water in a desert. How am I supposed to resist this? How do I stop myself when I'm around you? You groan as his bloody lips find yours again. Your fingers move of their own accord, grasping his shirt and pulling at it needily. He breaks the kiss just long enough to shuck his shirt aside, and then he kisses down your neck as his hands slide beneath your top. Take it off. He complies, sliding it up over your body and casting it aside before pressing you back into the flowers. You grin at the playful streak in his eyes. You can't hold back your impulse to tease him right back. I'm going to trace a flower over his body, tie him up with a vine. Flower. You pluck one of the flowers and twirl its stem between your fingers, eyebrow quirked. My turn to take control. You brush the petal into his collarbone, to one nipple swirling it around. His muscles flex as he sucks in a breath. How devious. Slowly, you trail the flower lower down his flexing abs, and surprising by dropping your lips onto his collarbone, tracing your earlier path with your mouth. Come on, you like it. As she's still wearing the necklace, by the way. As the flowers reaches your waistband of your pants, you mouth moves to a nipple where you gently graze your teeth. Oh. Suddenly he turns the tables and his teeth back on your neck, a growl rumbling in his throat. You'd better watch who you tease. You writhe as the points of his fangs scrape lightly down your throat to your shoulder, knowing how little it would take for him to cross the line. But you know with certainty that he won't bite without permission, which adds a heavy rush to your current submission. Give me the best you've got. Your chest heaves as his lips, the traces of the swell of your breast, goosebumps breaking out of your skin as his teeth tease you gently. Do you have any idea how incredible you smell? I think that's probably the garden. He looks up at you, face still in your cleavage, a sly look in his eyes. No, I'd know the scent of you anywhere. I can't get enough of your skin. He's going to wear you. I just sounds you. His fingers toy the clasp of your bra, your nipples harden. Yep. Didn't last long, he stopped himself. Before I truly take things too far, I lose my composure entirely. You work on steadying your own breath as well, his body warm against yours, with the smell of the garden wafting over you. You wonder, will we be able to stop next time? In the early morning, before the sun has begun to rise, Alexander accompanies you back to Greenwoods to switch you to Skyler's protection. I see the wolf hasn't yet arrived. Allow me to walk you to your room. But he stiffens as you step inside and climb the stairs, and you realize why when you see Skyler leaning against the wall beside your door. Look at you, getting her home on time. Here I was starting to think you lacked punctuality. Big words from someone who's only punctual about getting to the bar on time. Hey, I was here at the time we agreed on. And I know you didn't pick Lila up early. I had Grace follow her to make sure she made it to your place safely. Well, that was unnecessary, as I also... Can you two just stop? Suddenly a raging headache needles at your skull. You push in your room, only immediately be assaulted by a persistent dripping sound. These damn pipes, Peter! In seconds, Peter is rushing into your room, immediately cueing into the problem. Again, I swear I fixed them earlier. Hang on, let me just... The walls shake and this explosion rings out. Skyler and Alexander both dive in front of you, but you hear a scream. Ah! You see a raging hole in the wall, torn and twisted pieces of piping, and Peter skewered by pieces of shrapnel, blood pouring from his body. Peter! Lila, stay back. Skyler darts across the room to help Peter as Alexander pulls you back, trying to shield you from the gruesome sight. I'm gonna help Skyler help Peter. You break free of Alexander's hold and sprint across the room, falling to your knees beside Skyler. Oh god, is he gonna be okay? I'll make sure he is. Peter's tougher than he looks. A flash of movement draws your eyes to a window where a shadowy figure floats just outside. No. You blink and it's gone, but you know with bone-deep certainty what you saw wasn't just your imagination, and a terrible realization settles in. My bad luck is real and it's turning dangerous. I mean, that's kind of a given, don't you think? Without further ado, thanks for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Head down to the pinned comment. Consider supporting. It'd be greatly appreciated. With viewers like you that are able to help this channel gain traction, also support and whatnot, it would mean the world to me and this community, especially to keep going. Again, with the viewers that have already decided to help, it has allowed us to continue on, but then also resume our normal content creation. As you've seen, we've had a lot of new games that have come to the channel that I've been wanting to cover for a while, but we have finally been able to cover those because of the technical difficulties we were having, again, because of viewers that were able to help. So again, I can't stress enough that it means a lot if you are able to help as well, in any way whatsoever. Otherwise, thank you all for watching. We'll have to see. So far, I'm just kind of sitting back and enjoying this chapter and this book and just seeing where it goes. It's really too bad that we never got a Nightbound sequel that could have, you know, played along with this stuff. I mean, here we've got vampires, we've got werewolves, we've got fae. Pretty much it's Bloodbound 2 in a way, just different characters. It's really too bad we weren't just able to continue that series and continue with those people. But we'll see where this goes. It just kind of sucks because they had such an amazing universal like thing going on. Like they could have had Bloodbound characters. They could have had these new characters. They could have had the new entity and all this other stuff. Like they could have all mixed that into Bloodbound slash Nightbound, and literally had things going on and brought all new things in and literally had kind of like the DC universe had Arrow and Flash, Superman, etc. You had the same potential here, but yeah, no, it just flopped. So we'll see how good this book is, but something tells me I doubt we'll be getting a sequel, but we'll see. Thanks for watching. Catch you all later. Peace out.